Hey everybody. Well, same day, but 3 hours later. I want to finish the card of the day, made day one, which, as I mentioned in the previous video, was the Hermit. And I actually, when I pulled it, I was requesting or envisioning that as the card for the month, not just the card for the day. So as I mentioned, I pulled the Hermit, and I thought, well, and in case you didn't watch the first video that I posted, this is the deck I'm using, the Fifth Tarot by Martine and Teresina Bacons. Anyway, the card that I pulled for the first day, but for the first month is, oops, shininess, is the Hermit. And I mentioned in that previous video that I felt like that was significant because we're in a Hermit year, and I'm in a Hermit year myself as of my birthday in the end of March. And now I'm in a Hermit month. So that's like triple Hermit, which is fine by me because, as I mentioned before, I'm experiencing the loss of a close member of my family. And so I'm not feeling like I want to be this extroverted, social butterfly, out and about person. I'm really feeling like I want to be introspective, home alone, contemplating, reading, exploring, working with my cards and other spiritual and magical tools. And so that's what I'm doing. And interestingly, in the guidebook, these guys talk about the number 9, which of course is the Hermit's number, as being is a number of attainment or fulfillment. The Hermit has attained a state of greater knowledge and higher consciousness on his path. And they talk about how this is a time for, as I said, introspection and contemplation and doing magical workings and so forth and so on. So they also talk about retreating, and that's really what speaks to me. I'm kind of retreating here in my home to mourn and grieve and process and be introspective and release and ponder and heal. And that's another aspect that Martine and Teresina associate with the Hermit. And I'm trying to find this in the guidebook. Oh, here it is. The Hermit also suggests a time for healing. Clearing any unresolved issue on an emotional level will remove anything that may be clouding your vision. With balanced emotions, the Hermit teaches you how to respond rather than react to whatever you are encountering on your path. And then they talk about the energy of 9, indicates a time of completion. Now is not a time for new projects, although I am doing a renovation, which is kind of driving me nuts. The Hermit invites you to create home within yourself and remember the innate wisdom that is with you always. By simply living your truth, you inspire others to do the same. And the applications. So they say call on, where are my cards? Here they are. Call on Owl, as you saw in the card, in the stalagmites, whatever, we can see owl, bear, and crab. So owl is my animal of the year. So hermit is the card of the year. Owl is my animal of the year. Bear was my partner's spirit animal. And crab, in this case, hermit crab, horseshoe crab, is one of my animal guides. So I thought there was kind of a lot of cosmic synchronicity in this card. I happen to, the Hermit is one of my favorite cards anyway, and so I was kind of pleased to come into a Hermit year in 2025. And that's one of the reasons why I really want to deeply explore Hermit energy and invoke Hermit energy. And little did I know that I would be needing to find solace and retreat and healing in this year. One of the other things I talk about is make a wand or staff and use it while walking in nature, sitting in meditation, or conducting ceremonies. Feel the sage that you are and radiate your light to others. And then they talk about an essential oil blend of cedar, cypress, pine, and sandalwood. And those are all favorite essential oils for me. So I think I'm going to try to make a blend of that oil and, use that, apply it to myself, use it, release it in my house, and use it for spell magic on candles. So that is the Hermit. So that's day one, and as I mentioned, for the month of May. So for day two, I pulled the 5 of Feathers, and feathers is the air suit in this deck. And if we think about our 5 of Swords, we think about that winning at all costs, the kind of bully dude, the conflict, and of course 5s can be that way. But Teresina and Martine call the 5s, say the 5s are about change. The 5 of Feathers calls for openness to new ideas and experiences. This is the card for the 5 of Feathers. Very, very different from that typical Rider-Waite-Smith joy as we see the hummingbirds. And hummingbird is another one of my spirit animals. So horseshoe crab and hummingbird are 2 of my spirit animals. And it is the time of year where I live where the hummingbirds are returning. And in fact, just a couple days ago, I put my hummingbird feeder back up. I haven't seen any yet, but they are around, and I'm sure I'll be seeing them soon. One of the things that I like that Teresina and Martine mention in this description of the 5 of Feathers is they talk about how hummingbirds are, what do they say? Hummingbirds can be quite feisty little creatures and are experts at defending their territory and protecting their nests. So, as I said, I put hummingbird feeders out, and I always laugh when people portray hummingbirds as these sweet, joyful creatures. Yes, they are joyful. They spark joy in me when I see them. But if anyone has ever seen if you put hummingbird feeders out, they get into some dive bombing fights over, and I put up several. I'm like, guys, there's several feeders. Why are you fighting? There's enough for everybody, but they're defending their territory. And so they may be little teeny, and they are joyful. When I see a hummingbird, I do feel a sense of joy, but they also are feisty fighters and defenders of their territory. So here we see 4 hummingbirds, and then we see these 5 feathers. And this is a sacred geometry, a star, and they suggest meditating on this star. So I have not done that, but I want to do that. As I said, it's a little bit hectic around my house right now, and so meditating is slightly hard with people coming and going left and right. So they say this is a 5-pointed star, and it symbolizes spiritual calling. And the image is actually created by the sound of the musical note that is referred to as a fifth. So for this one, they talk about creating an oil blend of orange and pine, 2 more essential oils that I love, and meditate with the sacred geometry image in the center. And in the summer, go sit where you can watch the hummingbirds and simply enjoy their antics. And so I know they will be coming by soon. I have this little hummingbird medallion that I love. You know, I have these 2 for my spirit animals, the horseshoe crab and the hummingbird. So that was day 2, and I feel like there's still more to emerge from this card. I don't feel completion with this card, so we'll see what unfolds. So for day 3, which is today, I pulled the Seeker of Feathers. Sorry, yeah. So over top of the Dancer is a red-tailed hawk. And so I really, so far the first 3 days of this challenge have been quite profound. The cards that I've drawn, the Hermit and then Hummingbird, and now this card with the red-tailed hawk. So when my partner passed last month, I asked him, what will the symbol be? What is the symbol you'll send me so I'll know that you're giving me a message, or you're nearby, or you're present? And I clearly heard hawk, and then I heard red-tailed hawk. I have this card out on my altar from the Bird Oracle. And I knew that there are quite a few red-tailed hawks around where I live. And so I knew he didn't mean anytime I see a red-tailed hawk, it's a symbol. I had to have a feeling that it was a special signal or a special moment with a red-tailed hawk. And so a couple days after Bob passed, I went out to the mailbox, and there was a card for me and a card for my daughter. My daughter's an adult. She's 35. She doesn't live with me, but of course she's been around because of, you know, her dad passing. So I opened I gave her her card, and I had my card, and I opened the card, and it was from a very dear friend of mine who used to be a falconer. And inside the card was a red-tailed hawk feather, 2 of them. but here's here's why it's called red tail. So I was like, well, wow. 2 days after Bob passes, and I get a card in the mail, and it has a red tail hawk feather in it. So I reached out to my friend Mary, and I said, oh my gosh. And I told her the story of, what the message I got from Bob about what his signal or symbol is going to be for me. And she said, Liz, it was so weird. She said, I wrote you and Naomi the cards, but she said, I just kept getting this message to put one of Renee's feathers in. Renee was her red-tailed hawk who passed away, 10, 15 years ago. And she said, I really didn't even think I had any more feathers, but she said, I just kept getting, she said, like I got this vibration all the way through my body. And she said, I just knew I had to find one of her feathers for you and one for Naomi. And so she actually found 4 because we each got a tail feather and then one of these wing feathers. And look at how beautiful, look at the condition of these feathers. So these are going to be on my altar, obviously, and I'm considering that significant. So I don't feel like that's just, a red-tailed hawk just flew by. 2 days after Bob passed, I feel like he messaged through Mary, and Mary messaged Naomi and me. So that was pretty crazy. That was a few weeks ago. And then on May 3rd, which is today, when I pulled this card and I said, oh my gosh, that's a hawk. So yeah, so the image of the Seeker of Feathers depicts a Native American dancer performing a sacred hawk dance. The dancer honors the hawk with his magnificent regalia. He seeks a vision and calls upon Hawk for assistance. With every step of the dance, he comes closer to being one with the hawk. Overhead, the spirit hawk imparts their medicine and wisdom to the dancer. So, wow. So this says in the, so the Seeker of Feathers has shown you the path to wisdom that goes beyond knowledge. In the past, you may have been told what to believe. Now you will connect with the wisdom that lives within. Your vision and scope of the world are about to expand in brand new ways. This is the gift and challenge of the Seeker of Feathers, to reach higher and go beyond what you think you can do. So the applications: connect with Hawk in your meditations and ask them for their keen vision to assist you in your quest for truth. And then the second one is work with Hawk feather if possible. I'm not kidding, that's what it says. Tie it in your hair or on your bedpost. Honor the essence of Hawk on your altar. They are sure to answer your call. So, that is day 3. Seeker of Feathers, Hawk. So, Kristen, 3 days in, and I'm having a pretty profound time of it. Hopefully this will continue throughout the month, but I do want to thank you so much for bringing this challenge forward for us, and especially at a time when I really needed something like this. So, peace and love, my friends.